Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, what I like to do is to create videos that I would have found helpful when I first got out looking for treasure. Today I have an eBay package and I paid after shipping just shy of $25 for this. Now, how should I explain this? I don't think we're going to find good stuff in it. I think we're going to find no gold. And the reason for that is that I have purchased from this seller before, and I believe that they know what they're doing. Now, had I been paying attention, I would have followed my rule of checking to see who I'm buying from. And then I probably would have not purchased this particular lot. Now, I think it's going to be good stuff, and I'm not saying anything bad about this seller. This seller, I think, is really good, and I think they really know what they're doing is the thing. So, when I'm getting gold from eBay, in particular, I'm getting it from people who don't know what they're doing, generally speaking. Now, that said, there's always a little bit of hope because sometimes things do slip between the cracks, and this is a great seller. I don't mean to say say that this is a bad seller by any means. I think they're actually quite good. Just, you know, I'm trying to get gold here, and I think what we're gonna find is probably some gold fill at best, but we'll see. I think they know how to get their gold out of these pins. But this is probably going to be a pretty good example of, you know, what not to buy with a lot. Because on the surface, these pieces look pretty good. Let me get them out in a more central location for you. And I will, at the end of the video, I'll link, well, I won't link, I will include the images from the lot, so you can see what I was looking at. Sorry about the me not being centered. I've been trying to do some live streams lately. I'm attempting to do them every Wednesday, and for whatever reason, YouTube wants me to flip my camera around, so I have to do everything over at a different place than I'm used to. All right, so we've got all this stuff out. You can see they're pretty good looking pins, but this one's clearly plate, and you can tell just kind of by the fact that we've got plate wearing through, that surface looking sort of melty. Sometimes there's surfaces like that can be gold, but in this case, I don't think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a surface that looks like it's a little bit filled in, and that's because in a way it is. After it was cast, probably out of brass, it was then plated. Pieces like this, you can tell are gold fill because you have your brass actually coming through there. Nope. Trying to escape. Or gold plate. This one's probably gold plate by the looks of it. I don't even think that one's gold fill. I think that's just plate. You see sort of that rough but melty look. It's a real good example of what gold plate on one of these old pins looks like. Definitely have plate, more modern plate. See how shiny this one is, but it's like rough underneath that shiny. That's a perfect example of plate. Here the back was polished, but the sides weren't really polished before the plate was done. In fact, this one might even, yeah, see, this one's even made out of like steel. Looks like, yeah. So we have a couple things going on here. Again, we're looking at something that's clearly plated by the edges not being so sharp, but then also it, and you can't tell this through the video, but it's not heavy enough, and it has a very cheap pin on it. Now this may be gold fill. These PTA pins frequently are, and that one looks good for being gold fill. Interestingly, I've even found these that are solid gold. But this one, what does this one say here? This one says something. Something man. Guessing that's the maker of this one. But yeah, again, we're looking at that sort of filled in that look, which you'll start to get it. It doesn't necessarily doesn't hold 100% true, but there's sort of a roughness underneath the smoothness, if that makes sense. So I think this one is probably plated. We can test this one though, although I don't think we're going to come up with anything. I will test that just out of hope springing eternal. It would be nice if there was a bit of unmarked gold. Now, this one's a little bit interesting because that pattern there, which you see is quite different than, I think we're just looking at like, see, we kind of have that same cross hatching. This can be good. Sometimes that cross hatching, and it has a specific jewelry term, and I apologize, jewelry folks, I don't remember what it is. That can actually be a good thing. In this case, when we look at the back again, where we're back to cheap pin, and then that sort of filled in look. But I think, yeah, so I think this one is probably like a gold fill piece, or like you might call it rolled gold. Let me grab my pointer. I just cleaned, which means I don't know where anything is anymore. We're going to use this gold fill here piece. But do you see how there's one material here and then there's another material there? See how we have a very distinct line? Something on the surface and then something on the back. And the reason, yeah, there you can see it very well right there. Brass, gold. So the reason that cross-hatching here looked good to me is because that is gold. We're looking at karat gold, probably 10 karat gold, but it's just a layer on top. See how it's like that? And there's a lot of pieces that are like this. And when you're buying these things on eBay, that's where you can actually end up like kind of fooling yourself into thinking something's gold. Like this piece right here. If I look at this, I see a lot of traits that make me think this one's gold. There's a nice shine to it, even though it's dirty. I'm not seeing any kind of base metal coming through. But that said, if we look real close, do you see how that symbol in the center has two different layers? It's very obvious on this one. My little makeshift pointer here. So you've got your gold layer, and then underneath that you've got your brass. And you can see the distinct line because the brass has tarnished a little bit, but the gold hasn't. So the reason that looks dang good, that little Anderson piece in the middle, is because you are looking at karat gold, probably 10 karat gold. So if you test this face, you'll get gold, but then you'll realize if you were to like melt this down and refine it, that underneath that face isn't, it's just brass. Oh, well, there we go. Gold fill, 1954. So yeah, that's a very good example of being able to identify a piece of gold fill by its characteristics before you actually see the marking. And I highly suggest everyone always do that. Don't look to markings first, because markings can be false. There are a lot of fakes. And you may absolutely be distracted by the marking when you shouldn't be. The marking is the last thing you check for to confirm what you already think, what you already believe. That's a nicer one. Could be silver. Probably not. Most of these that I see that are silver are marked as such. But it could be a little bit of silver. This one's definitely plate, I think. Well, so yeah, so you see these casting lines here, here, and here. Like, I think this is probably thick gold plate. Because, like, from this angle, it looks really good. These little micro scratches, that surface is a nice surface. And then you see these sort of cracks with the casting. And then I'm thinking it's not so good. Looks pretty nice, though. How does it compare? We'll test both of them. There's no reason not to. I have been surprised by gold in the past sometimes. Maybe that's just how this was cast. And yeah, it only takes me a moment here, so we'll make that happen. We got a couple more things. Choir, definitely just plate. And then these guys. I have a bunch of these that are gold and way more that aren't. They're much more commonly gold fill than they are actually gold. But they came in gold. That does not strike me as gold, but so you might think that's tarnish, and it isn't necessarily. When they're brazing on the pin, that can cause that kind of discoloration. This surface doesn't give me much confidence that this thing is gold. You can see again here. So we have a very distinct line. Got something here and then something here on the surface. Let me pause the video for a second and I'll show you one that is gold and we can compare the two. All right, well, I fished this one out of my confirmed gold, and this is all gold that's been confirmed on the local XRF machine. And when you compare it to this new one we got, they sure look pretty much dang exactly the same, don't they? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some gold testing here. And I'm going to retest my other one, which was confirmed as 10 karat on the XRF machine. And we'll do a little bit of testing on this new one here. We'll see, maybe maybe this is a situation where the XRF machine thought that a bit of gold fill was in fact solid. And that is something to note about those XRF machines. They can give you false positives if something is too thick. But if we do a little bit of gold testing on these different parts here, where we get down through whatever a top layer might be, we should be able to find the truth of it. So why don't we go ahead and do that? I'll also test these two just because we're out testing, and I will be back. All right, well, I am glad that I did this because none of it is gold. Didn't expect these two to be gold, but I had hoped. And then with the one that was tested on the XRF machine as 10 karat in the past, I acid tested it, and it is not 10 karat. So I think this was a great lesson in one way in particular. it's worth a revisit if you actually have things that you are put away that you thought were gold. Definitely revisit when you know more. And also, a lot of the trust that I used to have in the XRF machine has gone away with acid testing and with actually learning more about how these old things were constructed. Because, quite frankly, it came up as a solid 10 carat in a bunch of different places on the XRF machine. But when I acid tested it, I make sure with a piece like this especially, and you can see potentially here, I get down into a place where it's going to show me for sure, is this actually going to be gold or not? And I feel like with these unmarked pieces in particular, it's very important to do that. So yeah, so this was not a profitable lot. I've got 2 pieces of gold fill here. Let's see, let's weigh those up. Gold fill is about $2 a gram. So we have 5 grams, so $10. We'll toss those into our gold fill pile. But yeah, I mean, every little bit adds up, certainly. However, when you're buying $10 worth of gold fill for $25, that's going backwards slightly, which is fine. I think we did good to learn about these pieces, and I think these pieces are probably gold fill, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure where those ones should go. And also, when I did digging, I didn't find another one that I thought was gold. So maybe if these are gold, they are marked as such. I would probably make it a point to avoid them in terms of if I'm hoping to get gold. I don't think these ones are going to be. Not that they couldn't, but I don't think that generally speaking you're going to find that they are. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Most importantly, I hope you learned something. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment if you can. Anything that I might have missed here, I always like to hear about it. But most importantly, I hope that you can use anything you might have learned in this video to go out and find yourself some treasure.
Like this, I've been Thomas.